I bought the cheapest tech on Amazon for a week. Was it worth it? When you think of Amazon, you think of convenience. A few clicks, a massive marketplace, and the allure of next-day delivery, bringing almost anything to your doorstep. But tucked inside that convenience lies a strange corner of the platform. The cheapest tech money can buy. Products so inexpensive you question how they even made it into the digital shelves of one of the world's largest retailers. I decided to explore this forgotten jungle of knockoffs, off-brand experiments, and too-good-to-be-true electronics. My challenge? For 1 week, I would live with only the cheapest tech I could find on Amazon, documenting the journey to see if it was actually usable, or if it was a painful reminder that you get what you pay for. The first thing I noticed scrolling through these listings was the sheer absurdity of product pricing. Wireless earbuds for less than $10, smartwatches that promise to rival Apple's flagship for the price of a fast food meal, portable projectors under $25, and even gaming keyboards and mice that cost less than a large pizza. Many of them had vague brand names that looked like they were spat out of a random word generator. Cofunks, Lonix, Tycom, brands I'd never heard of and would probably never see again. The reviews were a mixed bag, thousands of 5 stars, but half of them looked suspiciously fake, with reviews mentioning things like great kitchen utensil on a wireless earbud page. That was my first warning sign. Still, I stuck to the mission. I bought the cheapest functional gadget in several categories: earbuds, smartwatch, keyboard and mouse combo, Bluetooth speaker, and even a portable charger. When the package finally arrived, the excitement quickly mixed with dread. Everything was wrapped in the thinnest cardboard possible, some without even protective padding. A couple of items had manuals written in broken English that seemed auto-translated, filled with sentences like, "Please kindly turn on power, delightfully for enjoy your music happiness." It was clear these were not polished products, but I was ready to test them anyway. The earbuds were my first trial. They claimed to offer deep bass, long-lasting battery, and noise cancellation. For $9, that was ambitious. Taking them out of the flimsy plastic case, they felt feather-light, almost toy-like. The audio quality was tinny, the bass non-existent, and every time I moved my head, they threatened to fall out. On the plus side, they did connect to my phone without much hassle. But the long-lasting battery lasted just under 2 hours before dying. Trying to make calls with them was even worse. The microphone made my voice sound like I was speaking from inside a cave. For casual background music, they were tolerable, but anything beyond that felt like punishment. Next was the smartwatch, which proudly displayed a design eerily similar to an Apple Watch. From a distance, it looked sleek, but in my hand, it was clear this was a hollow imitation. The touchscreen was laggy, the icons pixelated, and the straps smelled faintly of cheap plastic. The watch could technically count steps, but half the time it froze mid-walk, only to add a random 2,000 steps while I was sitting on the couch. Notifications showed up inconsistently, sometimes hours after the original message. The heart rate monitor? Completely useless. It displayed the exact same number every time I tested it. It wasn't so much a smartwatch as it was a wrist-mounted disappointment. The Bluetooth speaker surprised me the most. For $12, I expected it to sound like a tin can, but it actually wasn't terrible. The volume was decent, though maxing it out distorted the audio heavily. The battery life fell short of the promised 8 hours, giving me about 3 at best. But for casual use around the house, it worked. I could imagine this being a cheap backup speaker for someone on a budget, though durability was questionable. A light shake made something rattle inside, which didn't inspire much confidence. The keyboard and mouse combo was where things took a dark turn. Out of the box, the keyboard felt flimsy, every keystroke producing a plasticky echo. The mouse had LED lights that were meant to make it look gamer-friendly, but the sensor was inconsistent, skipping across the screen like it was drunk. Trying to work or game with it was an exercise in frustration. The keyboard spacebar got stuck multiple times, and the mouse clicks registered twice as often as I pressed them. After a few hours, I abandoned them and went back to my regular setup because it was simply unbearable. The portable charger, or power bank, was perhaps the most deceptive. It claimed 10,000 milliamp hours capacity, which would normally charge a phone about 3 times. But in reality, it barely managed 1.5 charges before dying. The charging speed was painfully slow, and at one point it even overheated in my pocket, which made me question whether it was even safe to keep using. Saving money is one thing, but risking a fire hazard in your pocket? That's another level entirely. As the week went on, I realized living with this tech was exhausting. The constant recharging, the poor build quality, the unreliable performance. It wasn't just inconvenient, it was mentally draining. I found myself frustrated more often than not, and I started to appreciate the reliability of well-made products I had taken for granted before. A pair of quality earbuds that simply worked. A smartwatch that accurately tracked health metrics. A keyboard and mouse that didn't make me want to throw them across the room. These things seemed like luxuries after enduring bargain bin alternatives. But here's the interesting part. Not everything was a complete waste. The cheap speaker, while flawed, still had utility. The earbuds, though weak, technically functioned. The power bank, despite exaggerations, did work in emergencies. And for someone with almost no budget, these items might serve as entry points into the tech world. That's the hidden truth. Cheap tech exists to fill gaps for those who can't spend hundreds on premium products. It's not about perfection, it's about access. By the end of the week, I asked myself, was it worth it? On a practical level, not really. The frustration outweighed the savings for me personally. But as an experiment, it was eye-opening. It highlighted just how much engineering, testing, and refinement go into the devices we take for granted every day. It showed me the difference between cutting corners and building something that lasts. And perhaps most importantly, it reminded me that sometimes paying more upfront saves you from endless headaches later. So, would I recommend buying the cheapest tech on Amazon? Only if you absolutely must. Otherwise, save up, buy something decent, and thank yourself later. Because trust me, living a week with the cheapest tech felt less like a bargain and more like a survival challenge.